Okay, in this problem, we have a case where we want to use the HLOOKUP function. And this is going to get a little bit tricky. It's a little more advanced. So let's see what this spreadsheet really is about. So we've got a product, we've got a category, a quantity. We're going to look for the discount. And here are the answers that we're going to be looking for just as a target. So let's if we're going to do this manually, let's just kind of walk through the logic of this. So here we've got split peas, yellow dry. The category is food. The quantity is 6. Okay, so if we're providing a discount based off the quantity, we are going to use this discount table I'm highlighting right here. So the quantity is 6. So here we've got this 6. And the category is food. So here I'm looking, I found the value, I'll just bold it temporarily, 12.5. So if I'm taking orders over the phone or something and somebody orders 6, quantities of split peas, yellow, dry, I'm going to give them a 12.5% discount. Okay, but that lookup process could be error prone if you're doing it manually every single time. You could have somebody screw up. So we want to calculate this. So it's tricky in this situation. Should I use a VLOOKUP or an HLOOKUP? Because our data is both vertical and horizontal. Because you might want to say, well, I want to look up the quantity and then find the right column with the discount. There's a better way. If we use the HLOOKUP function, we can look up the category first and then find the percentage based off this quantity. We can only do that because this quantity is laid out for us in a logical way here, such that these rows correspond to this quantity value here in our main data. So let's take a look at how this works. So let's say the discount here. So we're going to look up the category. So I'm going to create HLOOKUP. The lookup value, I'm going to look up the category. So it's going to be food. I'm going to use a relative reference there. So the table array needs to have the value that I'm looking for and the value that I want. So this array is going to have these 3 categories, and I'm just holding down my my mouse button to select everything still. And these percentages are the values that I want. Notice I'm not selecting this quantity column here. Now after selecting those, I'm going to hit the F4 button to make all of those references absolute, so that when I copy and paste this formula down column D, all those references will still look to that same discount table. So I'm going to hit the comma to go to the next value. Now here's where it becomes interesting. What is the row index number that I want to use here? So let's look at what's highlighted here in this kind of reddish, pinkish, salmonish color. The rows are going to be numbered from the first row in this array right here. So I've got row 1 has my categories. Row 2 has the first discounts for a quantity of 1. Row 3 has the discounts for a quantity of 2, etc., etc. So I know I want this 12.5. If I'm looking up the quantity 6, I want to go to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, this 7. Okay, so I could type in a 7 here, but this isn't going to work if I copy and paste this formula down column D. So how can I compute this? Well, I can refer, the row index number can be a formula. So it can be my quantity. That would give me 6, but I know I want the 7th row, so I can just add 1 here. We'll dig into that in another example. but let's finish off our formula here, the range lookup. We have categorical data. It's either personal care, food, or drink. So here we want an exact match. So I can just type out false and hit enter. And I know this value is correct. We looked at it before. Everything is good there. If I copy this down, is it going to work? Are my values going to match? And fortunately they do. Looks like I did everything correctly. This is a challenging one for sure. If you can do this without the video's help the first time, you're in good shape. You're pretty on top of things. So let's take a look at what this value is for cheese. Le cru du cocher, which I'm sure I pronounced perfectly. So what we're doing, okay, let's kind of walk through this function. So we're looking up the value food in our lookup table. So it finds food in the second column. And what row are we going to? We're going to the row, the value of C6, and we're adding 1. So we're going to the second row. So row 1 is our categories. Row 2 is for quantity 1. So there we're finding that 10% discount. Let's go to drink. So mineral water. Let's look at the same thing. So we're using two relative references here. We're looking up the category, which is a relative reference. We're also using quantity as a relative reference because the quantity is going to change potentially for each one of these different lookups that we need to perform. So here I'm looking up drink in this table. It finds the exact match drink in this third column. And so for the row number, it's going to be the value in C8 plus 1. So that's 8 plus 1, which would be 9. So it's going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11.5%. Indeed, the answer is 11.5%. So I would say that it's rare to have the row index column number, or the row index number, or in a VLOOKUP, the column index number, use a cell reference, but it's absolutely possible. And here's a good use case where that works for us very well. And so this is a very sophisticated use of the HLOOKUP function, but I hope walking through the logic helps this make more sense.